From accusing the PGA commissioner of pining for TV money to calling out the official world golf ranking for failing to do their job, here's why Phil Mickelson can hardly hide his anger when it comes to the PGA. It's clear that LIV Golf is here to stay, and they might have earned their spot on the list by stealing players from the PGA. It still doesn't mean that Jay Monahan and company will let it be a pleasant stay. And that's exactly what Phil Mickelson has a problem with. This time around, he's got beef with the rankings. Yep, you heard that right. Lefty is tired of being left out. But to get there, we need to ask the real questions, such as, how are LIV players gonna compete in major championships? Let's be honest, Greg Norman is a real Kris Jenner when it comes to promoting his league. But one crease he has yet to iron out is the rankings. Of course, this is really frustrating for his golfers, especially Mickelson. And he really let it out in a recent Twitter exchange with golf commentator Colt Knost. The official Twitter account for LIV Golf tweeted, "LIV shouldn't have to adjust for the official world golf rankings. In fact, they should adjust for them." It sounds a bit cocky, doesn't it? Well, the league is super sure of itself, considering the fact they have 50% of the world's top golfers. Their words, not mine. This last comment ticked off Colt Knost, who retorted that if LIV was worried about the rankings, then why not just meet the criteria? It sounds like an easy solution, doesn't it? But that's not at all what Phil thinks. He clapped back saying, "It's not our job." According to him, it's totally their responsibility to figure out how to rank all the players in the world. That much sounds true. After all, they're literally called Official World Golf Rankings. It's in their name. Lefty thinks that it's time they took their job seriously, but hey, he believes that something is keeping them from doing that. And do you want to guess who he's pinning the blame on? Yep, his ex. His former tour, PGA. It might as well be a toxic ex, because Mickelson just can't get over it. Phil thinks that making LIV a part of mainstream golf is really gonna hurt the PGA's business. After all, it's gonna divide the audience. Less audience means less money. And that's definitely against Jay Monahan's mantra. Phil thinks that the leaders are all siding with PGA and helping them maintain a steady revenue stream from CBS. But why wouldn't they? After all, the PGA is one of the founding members of the ranking system. When Phil mentioned this, things got a bit personal. Colt straight up asked the golfer why he never lobbied for world ranking points from the start. And guess what? Lefty had a response ready in his golf bag. And mind you, it was pretty sassy. The player said that he didn't need world ranking points, and nor did he care about them. To him, it's only about doing what's right. In this case, that includes revealing who's colluding with whom, and how everyone's helping the PGA commissioner to keep his TV money. Phil also opened up about the alleged criteria, saying that there was no such thing. And before you jump to the comment section, let me clarify this. There isn't any set criteria. I checked. Seems like Lefty's winning this round. He pointed out that the whole 72-hole rule is based on guidelines posted by the OWGR, and if you still don't believe me, then here's exactly what their website says. Eligible formats are guidelines only, and the decision to approve a format for the OWGR system shall be at the entire and sole discretion of the governing board. And can you guess who's on the said governing board? Yes, of course, Jay Monahan. Phil also tweeted how it was made clear that the heads of OWGR would do everything in their power to shut LIV down by any and all means. If you read the Twitter feud, you'll notice that Knost kept bringing the subject back to LIV Golf, as if he wanted Phil to admit that he wanted LIV and only LIV to get special treatment. But the golfer's stance was clear. He wanted the players to get the points, no matter what their tour. Lefty even straight up called Knost out for thinking that LIV was the only tour not worthy of points. The commentator said that LIV only had a few good players. Others only jumped on the bandwagon since they wouldn't have made it to PGA. Now that's definitely wrong. since LIV has quite a lot of good players as well. I'm confused. Did Nost forget the former #1 Cameron Smith? Oh, and what about Phil Mickelson himself? The man was ranked #2 worldwide for 270 weeks. And yes, he did say that world rankings didn't matter to him. But don't you think it's a little unfair for the players? We are way past the point where it was about the money. The PGA was exposed for not paying its players well, and yes, LIV has problematic origins, but its American rival really needs to stop pretending that it hasn't done anything wrong. This might be a controversial opinion, but we wouldn't have been in this mess if PGA was keeping its players happy. Of course, no one's siding with what the Saudi-backed tour stands for, and let's be real, they're known to fudge facts here and there. For instance, remember when the official LIV account said that it had 50% of the top golf players? Now that was a real exaggeration. In reality, they only have 41% of the top 32 players. As for the top 52, they only have 38% of those players. But hey, that's still more than some of the other tours. There are many golf leagues out there whose format is worse than LIV's, but they're still given world ranking points. The official LIV Twitter account was ready to spill the beans when the discussion reached this point. They were quick to mention the Asian Tour, where the ranking system met the tour halfway in order to accommodate them. This is definitely bad for the game though, since big-time players who turn to LIV would no longer be given ranking points. This is obviously going to result in them falling off the list, which is why they won't be able to compete in big-time tournaments. While fans shared a mixed reaction on the topic, some still believe that the OWGR should be an independent organization. What's your take on this? Here's the thing, their decision directly affects the players, and quite frankly, it's only affecting the good ones. The bad ones don't even care as long as their wallets are filled up from simply showing up. It's true that LIV has given a whole money twist to the sport, but it was long overdue. After all, even Greg Norman had been speaking up about the unfair treatment of PGA. Coming back to Phil, he maintains that he doesn't care about what the rankings are doing to him. LIV, for him, was a fresh start, and he's treating it as exactly that. Of course, he already had problems with the PGA, so in a way, LIV became his knight in shining armor. And if we're being honest, he probably did more work when it came to promoting the league, more than the CEO Greg Norman. For Lefty, it was the league's progressive format that sealed the deal. Mind you, this is the same format that cost the members world ranking points. Tough luck, isn't it? It's clear that he's only playing golf for the love of the sport and no longer wishes to really compete. The golfer is ranked 35th among the 48 players on the LIV Tour. His highest finish up until now is 15th, but he did tie for second place in Augusta last month, which shot him from number 425 to number 74. This should clarify the problem, at least a little bit, because Phil played in a lot of events, and his rankings don't reflect that at all. So maybe PGA could figure out a way to get their revenge on LIV while keeping the players out of it. With that being said, it's a wrap on why Phil Mickelson's mad at PGA again.